Hey gang, full throttle kind of guy. Happy Sunday. Had a productive day yesterday. Put a new Holly on the car. The original one, the 700 or 750, 3310 at 700 I think. Anyways, it was well past its prime. And honestly, trying to put a kit in one of the older carbs, while it's possible just because of all the other idiosyncrasies and things going on with it, it just wasn't worth it. So pulled the trigger, made the move on a new Holly. Thankfully, it's a couple of years old, sitting on the shelf, but looking at Scott's Speed Shop and his experience with the recent production models, yeah, I think I dodged a bullet. Well, anyways, drivability's improved even more so. Holds 7 pounds of pressure, no problem, not blowing through the seats. Didn't have a leak of gas on the intake manifold like I have in the past, so there was improvement there. I'm not bathing in gas as I'm driving, which required me to always shower upon getting back into the house, because otherwise I was just exhausted or fumed out. Outside of the installation of the new carburetor, I was working on electrical. The car has gone from only having headlights to now I have parking or running lights. Got turn signals. I've got my dash lights. Temperature gauge works. Fuel gauge is currently in up. My suspicion is probably the sending unit in the trunk, or I should say in the gas tank itself. You can happen to see it through the trunk. That's why I said trunk. Heater, wipers, all work perfect, which it's a shocker in a car that's 6 years old and it's been through so many different hands throughout the decades in that. Thankfully, the wires haven't been, modified or, butchered too heavily. There were some splices made into it using those cheap, terminals that allow you to do that, but there was still a lot of the factory wiring left in place. One thing that I did that helped out immeasurably was researching the wiring schematics. I was able to get a PDF downloaded. I had my wife take it to her job, and they happen to have plotters there for electrical where she works. And so anyways, I was able to get that small PDF blown up to a large sheet. I showed that yesterday in the carburetor summary from the installation yesterday. I was able to drive it, get gas. First time filling it up. It's probably the first time it's been filled up since 2007, whenever I got ditched in that open field. It's been a good experience. And out of COVID, the one thing that's really been super productive was me having time, to work on this, because who at the time wanted to go anywhere. So it kind of helped me focus on getting this thing up and running, and lit a fire under me to make it happen. So again, that was one positive thing. And from my personal experience, and your mileage may vary, depends upon your skill set, finances, opportunities, whatever else have you. Some things that I would say, look, if you're tackling an older project like this, and mark my words, it's a project, because again, looking at your budget, I got this thing, it was a freaking steal. Seeing all the prices and everything going up now across the board, skyrocketing, I think it was a prudent purchase. At the time, I kind of didn't feel it, but yeah, just to touch base. In order to start this thing in the very beginning, it literally was like a 5-minute odyssey. Required me pouring a gas directly into the carb. I'd had the old Holly 41, big pardon, Autolite 4100 series carb on there, and it was so unreliable. you could barely get it up and down the block, and it just wasn't worth driving. The Cruise-O-Matic was super tired, and Cruise-O-Matics are really weird transmissions. There's a green dot on your column, and in order to get it moving forward, you have to have it in the green dot. Then afterwards, you can shift gears and do whatever to change it. But you're taking off in second gear, not in first gear. There's nobody that knows how to fix those things, so I put that thing up. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. Got good money for it. But I wound up getting a C6. So the C6 came with a bean and pan, shift kit. I went and got a TCI shifter. Back when I got it, the shifter was like $130. Couldn't believe it. Now that thing is, like everything else, is skyrocketed. I think it's like $175. But it's a good shifter. It's not bad for the work. Ended up having to go to Kreitz. Got the C6 swap cross member. Well worth the price on that, and even that too has gone up. So again, if you're thinking about doing an early model, hey man, consider ditching the Cruise-O-Matic, sell off all those parts of the old heads that want them, or they're not looking to do anything fancy. You can help offset some of your costs. So it's not to help you stay within your budget. So the heads on it were trashed because Ford, the top row of the exhaust bolts, out of the top tier, I think I only had like one bolt come out from the top. All the bolts came out from the bottom because they're covered, but all those exposed top ones sheared off in the heads. And luckily for me, I found a set of FE heads from like a 63, already redone, hardened valve seats, new springs, ready to go, ready to bolt on. $135. I couldn't get up there quick enough to go pick up them damn things. So bolted on the heads, put on an Edelbrock intake, the old Warhorse 3310, and went with a Patronics ignition module to replace the points. Then upgraded the charging system. Generators, man. Dude, who wants to work on a freaking generator that puts out a whopping 40-something amps, 60 amps? I know there's going to be people out there be like, oh, they're still great, they do this, they do that, or blah, blah, blah. Dude, nobody cares. I've got the 130 amp 3G unit in there. And so, again, I'm at the point where I can get in the car, rappy-tappy the key, fires up, and even with it still not fully warm, I can still drive around the block and the whole 9 yards. It doesn't act up. It doesn't do anything weird. On the horizon, I know I'm going to need probably a radiator, and I got to do something with the valve cover gaskets. Those are kind of iffy, but those are all minor things. I mean, it's just something I could do in an afternoon or whatnot. But overall, am I happy? Yeah. Was it a good learning experience? Yeah. But it all came down to organization and kind of making my dollar stretch. Whatever I took off the car, I tried to turn around and sell. People out there are still buying the parts off of it. And when I say parts, I mean the transmission and the intrinsic pieces to the transmission to help offset. So that I got some good money for. But with the car, it was actually surprisingly complete. The only thing that was really missing was the windshield wiper blades, which of course I've got, and the arms, I've got that taken care of. And I've got a replacement side mirror. The mirror was in the car, but it was broken. So it's a old remote mirror, but the wiring, somebody cut it. What the hell are people thinking? I don't know. Anyways, and the glass was broken. So I've got it in a box, and I'll see what I think about doing that. But I just got a simple upgrade for that. And honestly, bolting on that new mirror is like a 5-minute job. Great piece. I got it from a place called Ray's on eBay. Now it's like $25 with shipping. I think it's like $30. Best $30 you'll ever spend because it's metal, metal base, metal neck, metal housing. The ones you see being sold by some of the off-site sites or overseas sites, made out of Chinesium. They come at you with the cheap tinned top part, but the base itself is chromed plastic. If you're looking to turn the car around and not enjoy it or look at things long term, any port, any storm, it'll work. And they're around $18 or something. But hey, just like anything else, pay what you get for. Oh, well, speaking of which, I did also replace the fuel pump, the original fuel pump on this thing. Dude, it was probably the original fuel pump from when Kennedy was still in office. And homeboy been gone how long? So, think about that. But nonetheless, starts, drives. I did ditch the power steering. So that thing is like going to the gym, going around corners and trying to park this thing. I mean, it really will test you out. But yeah, a fun car and everything. I'm trying to do something different with my camera and that. So I upgraded for my GoPro. I'll keep my GoPro for like headshots, interior shots and that. But I've got a Canon M200 EOS to kind of help step up my game. So I'd like to see my channel grow. And if you're just stumbling on by, hey, please like and subscribe, help my channel grow. So maybe one day I can go to the Nonamenationals, sometime within, the next year or two, as opposed to the rate of growth. It's 20 years, and if there's gas by then, who knows. But anyways, I think another bit of advice I'd give too is, if you're working on things, you get into a fix, don't be afraid to ask somebody for help, or get in forums, research. If you've got the basic tools in that and you've got the courage to get it done, you'll figure out a way to get it done. And then I would say, if anything, from a psychological standpoint, don't get into that mindset of blowing up a car. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to get monitored or censored or whatever. Taking apart a whole car that you don't know anything about, scattering it in boxes in your garage, not labeling anything, this, that, and the other thing, and there it sits, and then you get tired of it because you have no ambition, or you've got burnt out, or you realize you're in over your head skill set wise or financial wise, and then you have to sell it and you're going to end up getting murdered at a loss or you have to take a loss because you basically devalued the entire car, or it's in parts, and it's basically either a jigsaw puzzle for somebody else to put together, and they're going to make the same mistake you did, or they're going to wind up parting it out and putting it up on eBay. Who knows? But yeah, if you can keep it as a rolling project while you're working on things, I think mentally that's the best thing for you, because the moment you get something off your checklist and you realize you've made an improvement on something, that's going to keep you motivated. A lot of times too, and I've been guilty of this. I know you've probably been guilty of this too. Dude, sometimes you got to stay off things like, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I think recently there's that Make an Offer, whatever the hell they call the website. Anyways, looking at other project cars while you're working on a project. Dude, nobody here's got, Freiburger money or support. And these TV shows nowadays, they try to make it look so freaking easy, and all you see is like the easy stuff. What you don't see is the techs and stuff working in the background. I'm not saying the Roku guys have techs and all that. I'm sure they do all the work themselves and whatnot. But I'm just saying, and as a whole, these TV shows, you see something within half an hour or in like 5 installments, and boom, you think the car is good to go, and it's just that easy. Dude, it takes some time. It takes a lot of work and dedication. And then, again, looking at your finances, I waited till my daughter was out of college before I actually started putting money aside and buying bits and pieces so I can actually, crack this thing wide open and do what I had to do. Because at the end of the day, who wants static from their family or their spouse because you're blowing money on a car when you need money for household expenses and whatnot? So me, I hustle, I'll buy, sell, trade parts, and that's how I keep my cash flow going. And thank goodness there's a swap meet coming up this April in Portland after 2-3 years of not having it. So can't wait to hit the swap meet again. Don't know if I've got enough parts to sell, but just to buy some knick-knack paddywhacks to finish this thing up and at least get a chance to enjoy it some more. Some short-term goals. There's like 3 car cruises / shows that I want to go to. One's like a veterans car show here in June in Hillsborough. There's an all-Ford car show, and there's also a pre-1964 car show in Portland, and I'll be posting up, stuff as it comes. But I think sometimes you got to be able to set goals for yourself and doing things. Otherwise, if you end up getting lost in a project or you get burned out, again, you're going to wind up falling out of love with whatever it is. And what did you just do? You wasted all this money and time. And being a car person is not easy. It is not easy. So it's just one of those things you got to figure out what motivates you for it. So again, just because you saw a couple of dudes do it on TV and they made it look amazing, it might not be the right answer. But like for me, I like the result of being able to take something from the dead, turn it around, drive it, enjoy it, get it to a point where I feel good with it, and then somebody comes along and buys it off me. I've done it on 3-4 cars already, and again, that's kind of like my nest egg to move on to my next project and whatnot. But so right now I've got this. I've still got the Nova, which runs, and I've got the Dodge Dart. I'm going to be swapping a 360 into that. So again, it's all little stuff where it's not going to be down for a long period of time, or I'm planning to do like a frame off resto. That's never going to happen. I'm not living a lifestyle, because at the end of the day, I like the car the way it is. It's only original once, like this thing. Whatever somebody who buys the car from me, whatever they chose to do after the fact, or choose to do, that's ain't none of my business.